What's up guys, so welcome back from the Yugioh Pro Duel video. H.A.T updated, so 2020 Master Rule 5/Master Rule 2020. We have so hand traps, artifacts and trap tricks, right? Good old H.A.T, well it's not really old, but you know what I mean. The strategy still kinda stays the same. A couple of new cards are added to the deck compared to my previous build from like a couple of months ago. One of them being like a new boss monster, Arknemesis is the name. Level 11 by the way, and it's searchable off of Melody of the Awakening Dragon, I believe the name is. So very similar to Levianir, but if you can, it's hard to compare both of these cards. I still prefer Levianir. But then again, this new card is very similar to Tribe Infecting Virus, so declaring a type, a monster type on the field. Needs to destroy something if I'm not mistaken, not sure about the correct ruling, but from that moment on, if you use the effect, the Tribe Infecting Virus effect, you and your opponent cannot special summon the same type of that monster until the end of next turn. So that's quite important, and it has that built-in floodgate effect. While you know, at this moment of the time, is that Tribe Infecting Virus is still banned in the TCG. Anyway, so get this new, or at least to get this new quote-unquote boss monster on the field, you need to banish 3 monsters with 3 different types. That's why I picked up H.A.T again. You know, there's so many different types. We have machines, we have fairies, we have insects as well, and so on. I mean, there are so many potential types that you can easily fill up your graveyard to get this new boss monster on the field, right? This deck can definitely go first, it can definitely go second. I think we all know the strategy, right? Using the new artifact Link from the Link Range Spec 3, again, if I'm not mistaken. Together with the, you know, the new quote-unquote trap tricks Link as well. Basically recycle one of the new cards as well, the new Grave Hole. It's very similar to Call by the Grave, negating monster effects that either activate in the hand, in the banished pile, or in the graveyard. And of course, it's a whole card, so you know you can search it with your cards. I mean, with Mermelio or with your Diania to get it back from your graveyard and keep recycling it. And that's something I definitely like about this deck. It's very fun, it's slow though, but you know, the artifact engine and artifact site is still a very powerful card against a lot of decks, that is. And if your opponent is giving you too much time to set up, it's hard for a lot of decks to come back after that, especially thanks to the power of artifact site. As you saw in the extra deck, I'm not running the Time Thief Redoer. I mean, it could be in the main deck, but yeah, extra deck space is a little bit tight. And there is like one of the biggest reasons why I'm still contemplating it is due to the Phantom Knight trap card. What is it called? H.A.T Brigandine. That gives you the level 4 on the field. It could potentially trigger, you know, because it's a trap card, trigger your trap tricks Link monster, you know, like during the first turn that is, and at the same time giving you a level 4 body on the field. So that's probably one of the only reasons why I would put Redoer, Time Thief Redoer in the extra deck, but again it's quite tight, and as you saw I'm not running both Rafflesia, Trap Tricks Rafflesia, the rank 4 Exceed, or the new one, the new Trap Tricks rank 4 Exceed. I'm not really sure, both of them are of course quite good, but yeah, looking at like the new format, well 2020 Master Rules, and the fact that now in today's format we have Link monsters like Appaloosa or Boral Sword, I catch myself like I'm going for those monsters more rather than go for something like Rafflesia. There is, you know, like Tornado Dragon or Utopia maybe, sometimes are just better, but again that heavily depends on the situation. So yeah, you might want to put those in the extra deck as well. But again, as I mentioned before, the new Hole trap card is currently one of in the deck. It's good against some matchups, it's terrible against other matchups, and the fact that it's of course searchable off of your Mermelio and recyclable thanks to Diania. I don't feel the need of adding in more Grave Holes, right? At this moment, I'm running 3 hole card being Treasure Strapple, and then yeah, that's probably one of the reasons why I might still contemplate on adding in Rafflesia is as soon as you have a trap in your graveyard, your Treasure Strapple is kinda dead. So that's where Rafflesia can come into play by dodging, or you know, like they need dodging that restriction that you don't that you're already having like a trap card in your graveyard. This is my mistake. I'll use a Lost Wind on the lead gear. indeed, and I think Levier was able to summon, or would have summoned Myrmilio from my banished pile, but as you know, Myrmilio was negated due to Call by the Grave, but I was like, okay, I have to use Last Wind to prevent the 4th monster from coming out, maybe to prevent Borreload, or, well, yeah, Boral Sword wasn't that big of a deal, I guess, because again, Myrmilio was negated, so Last Wind would always have survived, and yeah, again, so that was my mistake. Would it have mattered? It might have been. Again, the potential, because, you know, like Last Wind, when entering the battle phase, so Boral Sword cannot use the attack, well, the attack increasement effect. So, yeah, the game would have been a little bit different. So, again, my apologies. That was my mistake. But again, mistakes happen, so that's fine, I guess. Going second is definitely an option for this deck. A big difference compared to my previous build is that Phantasme was at 3 in the previous build for the most obvious reasons. It lets you recycle your quote-unquote dead artifacts, gives you a draw engine, somewhat of like a draw engine, gives you a free body on the field, protection, but I replaced it with Nibiru since, well, Master Rule 2020, we don't really know that Link decks will still be popular and, you know, people moving away maybe from Links, at least it's not really mandatory for, let's say, X.A.T decks or Synchro decks to put up that Link first, while, you know, during Master Rule 4, like Phantasme was like a semi or even maybe like a main deck staple. So that's why I think Nibiru is a little better compared to that. And of course, yeah, and that's where this deck still struggles, is that, like, you know, if you're going second that your opponent is pumping out those big monsters, you need something like Nibiru, or maybe even, yeah, evenly matched or whatever, to combat those very big fields. Because again, let's face it, this is not really like a tier 1 top tier deck. So anyway, play these as the only one of, yeah, rank 5 X.A.T, but I'm not really sure if you really need more. Again, the extra space extra deck space is quite tight. And yeah, GlitchxCity again, getting those extra searches, Dionia a couple of times, searching all the whole cards, and, you know, Gravehole is fantastic against something like Thunder Dragons, and you can again recycle it thanks to Dionia or whatever. So there is, that will eventually trigger Sira as well, also dealing burn damage, not to forget, so that's something cool, might be important in, let's say, game number 3 or, you know, overtime. Anyway, so getting back Dionia thanks to Pleiades, triggering Dionia's, well, you know, I mean, I don't need to explain this. Burning Abyss again, going second, and I see Nibiru, so that's good. Basically against a lot of decks against Burning Abyss, this should be an immediate drop, right? Especially because of the token. That's something that Burning Abyss definitely don't want, but yeah, that doesn't really seem too strong since Cherubini already activated the effect and we know the back row. So we can definitely act accordingly. Going for the artifact Link monster indeed, try to search with Myrmilio, and I'm not going to use the artifact, what is it called, Ignition, to get rid of the Fog Blade, since I need Ignition to get the artifact sides during the opponent's turn on the field. One of the cards that I had in the main deck previously was Heavy Storm Duster. Again, Storm Duster, because it's a searchable target off of your, what is it called? You know which one I mean. The trap card that sends to the graveyard, sets the same. Oh, you know which one I mean. I'm getting too old. But that might have been an option, but as you saw, the main deck is already counting like 42 cards, and I think it's justified running a little over 40 cards because of the, well, you don't really want to open with multiple artifacts, so you're kind of decreasing the chances of you opening with those pesky artifacts, right? Trap Trick, yeah, that's indeed the card name I was looking for. So anyway, yeah, Double Colossus, and that's a problem of, you know, like this deck, no searchers. Then again, I could dodge, well, there are cards that don't really search, but directly set, right? So, or special summon directly from the deck, so that's fine, I guess. But then again, this new boss monster, again, it's okay. In this particular deck, it could definitely have a place, although it's not really searchable. Here in this deck, their decks, dragon decks that are playing Melody or whatever, then this card is definitely searchable. But I don't think you would main deck or need to main deck this card more than once in those decks, since you know, there are cards that are very similar to this quote-unquote boss monster, being Levianeer, being maybe the Chaos monsters, BLS, Chaos Emperor Dragon. But then, yeah, then again, having that one extra copy to, first of all, search Levianeer as well off of Melody, drop Levianeer, let it do its shenanigans, and then drop this beast, your Arknemesis, call any particular type, lock your opponent out of the duel for at least one extra turn, and, you know, in today's format, don't give your opponent the extra turn, dimensional barrier or like effect that could artifact sight like effect, prevent them from playing the game. That could be enough to give you the game next turn. So this new card is definitely very interesting. It's an okay boss monster for this deck, even though it's not searchable. In this deck, that is. But then again, it's really cool, right? And it can be destroyed by card effects, but there is still cards like Unicorn that can definitely play around that. So it's fine. But it's a very cool list. It's very fun playing H.A.T in today's format, or, you know, upcoming Master Rule 2020. Other options are, of course, Heavy Storm Duster in the main deck, the Time Thief Redoer with the trap, at least with the Phantom Knight trap card, Phantasme as well, more trap tricks, not really sure about that. The Utopia package with, you know, like the good old school OTK, Avramex, Masquerina also. So again, you have so many options here, as you see here in the extra deck. But again, feel free to leave feedback. Okay, guys, that's it. Thanks for watching, and feel free to leave a comment or like if you enjoyed the video. Lithium signing out. Peace.